The NCAA tournament is in full swing, and we have another locked on bracket breakdown as 10 seed Penn State falls to 2 seed Texas 71-66 on Saturday night. I'm Isaac Shade, and we're joined by the host of the Nittany Lions, Zach Seiko. And Zach, Penn State falls just short, but what a run Micah Shrewsbury's team has been on. Winners of 6 of 7, fell a 3-pointer shy of a Big Ten championship, upsetting Texas A&M on Thursday. What kind of special ending, despite the sad loss, what kind of special ending has this been for Penn State?
Yeah, I wish they could have gone on, because then it would have at least gone past the bar that this 2001 team has set, where they upset North. I mean, this was the exact day, right? March 18th, back in 2001, when the Crispin brothers and Titus Ivory and Tyler Smith and all those guys upset a North Carolina team that was better than them overall, but not on that given day. And so that's the bar that's been set for Penn State men's basketball. And the program's been chasing that for too long of a time at this point, Isaac. And I think what's special about this season is the fact that it feels like they're close. They're closer. I don't know about next season or the year after what that's going to look like. Everyone's saying, well, Penn State's an NIT team next year because they're losing, all of the seniors, and they're not retaining any of Pickett, Funk, Dredd, Lundy, any of those guys. I get that. But Micah Shrewsbury, this is different. It kind of felt with Pat Chambers that Penn State was stuck in a little limbo. It was a surprise more that Penn State got near the tournament. And now for Penn State, it's a surprise that they didn't make it further. And so that's a good feeling for this team. Micah Shrewsbury bringing all of the knowledge, everything that he's picked up along the way. And now the next thing is here. Hopefully he sticks around, because he is right now the architect for this program, and he's accelerated it in just 2 years. That's what this season means.
Love that. Great perspective there, Zach. And they did that again on Saturday night. It seemed like Texas might be able to put the game away, but then Penn State goes on this 10-0 run to take a lead with just under 5 minutes to go. I mean, you would love to have held on to that lead, but what does just even a run like that down the stretch tell you about the grit, the seniority, the experience of this Penn State club?
The difference for this Penn State team is they just didn't make enough 3-pointers in this game. Truly a live by the 3, die by the 3 team. And that's because, and something anybody that's watched a lot of Locked On Nittany Lions knows, at least from the start of the season, that when Andrew Funk goes cold, so does this team. And the thing about this team that made them a tournament team was that they finally had other options to pick up the slack when Andrew Funk doesn't go out there 8 of 10 from 3-point land, 27 points, and Texas A&M has no answer. Because there are games where he scored 0, 3, 6, and the Penn State team either wins by a few or they lose, and very embarrassingly. So the fact that Penn State down the stretch of the season was able to find that sometimes that 4th and even a 5th option is how they got to this point. And that's what happened. You had other guys step up. You had Miles Dredd, who was pretty cold through a chunk of the season, found some rhythm here. Again, a senior on the team that they'll be losing, veteran experience, and he's a proven scorer when he needs to be. So finding those options is how Penn State was able to at least stick with Texas. Game planning, switching to the 2-3 zone in the second half, at least gave them fits. Texas was 1 for 13 from 3-point range. Normally that loses you games. In this case, it didn't. I felt like Texas got a lot of second chance opportunities. They had momentum at the end of the first half. But the fact that the gritty, not pretty mentality, it's become a signature for Micah Shrewsbury. And that's going to have to change, because that was this group. Eventually it is going to be pretty with all the 4- and 5-star recruits that they're racking up, at least right now.
Yes, absolutely. And you mentioned Jalen Pickett's name earlier. Double-double in this game, 11 points, 10 rebounds, has been the face of Penn State to the world watching around them. What has he meant to this team and this university, both on and off the court?
I want to mention Cam Winter too. I mentioned
Yes.
Miles Dredd. Cam Winter, leading the team with 16 points. He became, again, that 4th option, like I said, when Andrew Funk or Seth Lundy go cold. But as far as Jalen Pickett, not a lot of votes on Twitter, but I put out a poll as far as who has had the biggest impact of all the signature guards at Penn State. And I know a guy like Joe Crispin from that 2001 team is not going to garner as much interest because not a lot of people saw him in real time. But between Tony Carr and Taylor Battle and Jalen Pickett, out of those four that have been the lead, the face of these iconic teams, it was Jalen Pickett in a landslide. So
Really?
And what he means to the team is that he was that gritty, not pretty, the booty ball, the uncharacteristic gameplay that only gets you so far. And for him, it is his gameplay, and it's why this Penn State team was able to do what it did, because he doesn't back. He backs down defenders. He doesn't back down, metaphorically. And I think for him to go out every single game and play close to 40 minutes too, like, he's truly an Iron Man for someone that does not come off the floor. He doesn't want to come off the floor. Penn State tried so many ways to scale back his minutes so that he could have fresh legs, and it just didn't work out. They needed him for 38 to 40 minutes on a given night, and that's what he's given to Penn State the past 2 seasons.
You have forecasted ahead a little bit, Zach, but let's do that more specifically. What is next for Penn State? Do they retain Micah Shrewsbury? What about this pretty ball that you talked about coming in?
I hope so. Micah Shrewsbury, I don't know what he's thinking. He is born and raised from Indiana. He's coached at Purdue. He coached at IU South Bend for a period of time. And if Notre Dame is calling and they offer him even a similar amount of money to Penn State, I don't know what kind of bidding war it's going to be. But I got to imagine that he's going to take that phone call and entertain that conversation because his heart is in Indiana. I just know that from just we're all human beings, right? So if that's truly the case, then I don't blame him for going home. But if he also said in a press conference, Penn State wanted him 2 to 3 years ago, nobody wanted me. And if that's him saying, I am loyal to the program, the entity that stuck by me through thick and thin from the beginning, then that's interesting to at least keep an eye on. And then just the recruits that they're getting. I know guys like Jameel Brown didn't play a lot. He was one of the iconic freshmen in this class but Keba Jai played a lot. He's going to be a focal point. He's going to be the guy along with Jameel Brown, Evan Mahaffey, Kanye Clary, all those guys next season, on top of getting Braden Shrewsbury, if Micah sticks around. That name sounds familiar because that's his son. So and Kerry Booth, another, again, the son of Calvin Booth, who's another legendary Penn State player. So all those guys coming together will make this program look very good in years to come.
We look forward to hopefully another productive basketball season in State College. And for more on the Penn State Nittany Lions, make sure you're subscribed to Locked On Nittany Lions. And for a full view of the bracket and everything going on in college basketball, subscribe to Locked On College Basketball. Both shows are part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.